Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Making New Possible. I am your host, Angela Damiani. Today I have a super fun guest. I have Mark Meisner, the Vice President of Marketing for the iconic brand Kwik Trip. We're going to talk about how he approaches brand promise and the ways in which his team and the operations team actually deliver that brand promise for what is, I think, maybe one of the most beloved Wisconsin brands. So we'll get right into it. Hi, Mark.
Angela, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, I want to jump right in. You have built a super strong track record in the marketing and advertising, really retail industry across your career. I'm curious, how has your approach to that evolved as you've grown into different leadership roles? Because I'm assuming you weren't always at the tippy top of a marketing enterprise.
Yeah, no, very true. So I've been with Kwik Trip for about 10 years and actually came over from Kwik Trip and moved into the retail environment from media.
Interesting.
So it was really an interesting journey for me, jumping from one side of the desk to the other. Candidly, I tell my media friends all the time, it's a lot easier buying than it is selling. So we've had a lot of fun here, but I can tell you, for me, it's been interesting, and I am blessed to work with a company that gives me the resources to do what we need to do. When I started with Kwik Trip again about 10 years ago, we had 15, maybe 18 people as a part of our marketing department.
Sure.
And I found out very quickly that this company moves very quick, and we had to be nimble, and we had to have resources internally for us to execute at a high level. So in the past 10 years, our staff has grown from 15, 18 to over 60.
Whoa.
Well, really, we have an complete in-house ad agency. So, we look at the need for video today. We've got a great AV team that is out every day shooting content, whether it's for social platforms, whether it's for fuel dispenser video, whether it's for connected TV, it doesn't matter. So we're shooting a ton of video here. We have a great creative services team. We have a sponsorship activation team. We have 5 million loyalty members. So we've got people that are mining for data and audience segmentation team. I mean, we pretty much have everything in-house, and we can move super, super quick. So I think it allows us, I realize a lot of companies don't have the luxury.
Yeah, I'm feeling like the envy of anyone that's listening, you know what I mean, that has like a 2-person team and has to cobble it together.
Right.
Like, how amazing is that?
It really was. So to be able to, by the time agencies are great, don't get me wrong, they serve great purposes for us here, though. By the time I met with an agency and talked about a project, we'd be on to the next thing. So for us to be able to move quickly was just super important, and to be able to have the resources to do that, that's been a bit of a game changer here. So we've got a great team.
Oh, that's really cool. It sounds like you thrive in that environment too. I'm curious, the premise of this podcast is exploring like the idea of creativity. How do you balance that need for creativity and the innovation? And what I'm hearing is sort of like a fast-paced environment with, measurable results. Because obviously sometimes with marketing, it needs a minute to marinate, before you can see a result. I'm curious, how do you think about that? How do you approach that? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, we certainly have budgets and goals here week to week, as well as period by period. We have 13 4-week periods here at Kwik Trip. So I know what the company needs to do from an inside sales perspective. We sell a lot of food, we sell a lot of fuel. So, we support campaigns that drive traffic into our stores, that engage people to stop a little bit more often, maybe spend a little bit more, in terms of pointing out opportunities and specials and promotions in our stores. So that's a big deal, and we support that all the time. The great thing about being in convenience and retail is we literally have almost no limitations creatively in terms of what we can do. Like I feel for my friends in finance and
yeah. They don't have like an FDIC or any kind of like regulators.
No,
yeah.
Correct. I mean, we
Right.
have so much flexibility just to get as wildly creative as we want to. And for me, obviously driving traffic into our stores is kind of paramount. But for me, I also believe that if we can just work on that brand affinity and the brand love that people have with our brand and continue to grow that, protect that, and grow that, everything else will take care of itself. It just will. And so I think the number one job of marketing from my perspective is continue to protect the brand, grow the brand, look for platforms in which we can do that. But we do need to obviously get specific with campaigns to drive traffic and introduce new products in our stores, and it's all part of that works together. So it's been a fun ride over the last 10 years to do that.
I gotta tell you, so I've told a couple people this week, it's actually my birthday today, and so people are like, what are you doing on your birthday? And I was like, actually, I get to interview like the guy who manages the brand for Kwik Trip, and people have been like, what? No way! Like, what a like exciting thing. I think Kwik Trip's brand has some lore to it in a way that it makes me smile because I feel like it's a gas station and a convenience store, but
Yeah.
like they're like in it with you. I'm curious about like how do you think you've done that? You know what I mean? Like how do you think you've exceeded sort of campaign expectations or customer expectations, and why? Why does everyone smile and get so enthusiastic about Kwik Trip?
Gosh, I have to tell you that sometimes it amazes me. It really does. I tell a quick story. I was out visiting a buddy of mine, and we were out in we were at one of his homes on a lake actually. And, we decided to go across the lake, and we were gonna have a little dinner at one of the restaurants over there. But there was a bit of a party on the beach, and
Okay.
there were 60, 70 people just having a couple of beers, cocktails, and hanging out on a beautiful summer night
Sure.
in this a couple of summers ago. And I found out within about 20 minutes I was the most popular guy on that beach
I'm
because
serious.
people had figured out that I had worked at Quick Trip. It wasn't me personally. I was the most like the fact that I worked for Quick Trip made me the most popular guy on the beach. I had people coming up asking me about where we're going to put a next store, that they knew a piece of property that was for sale, where we should put a car wash, the next limited time offer, item that we should put on sale. It was just the craziest thing. And I just left there going, what is going on with this brand? It's just a crazy, crazy brand. But I will tell you, I think I've been asked that question last 4, 5, 6 years, like that has really exploded. And why? Why has that happened? And I think it's calling out the amazing social media team we have. I think they have really taken what we do on our social platforms to a heightened level to connect with younger consumers that we can't do with standard media, even new
Yeah.
media. And I think what influencers have done for us and just the content that we can create. And again, as we mentioned earlier, they don't have really a lot of guardrails. I mean, we have some, we know how we need to kind of protect our brand, but at the same time, they have creative licensing to get as crazy as fun as they want. And I
Well,
sit
and
in
to
meetings.
follow on with trends, I mean, I think the thing about social media is it really works for big brands if you can be in the conversation with the people who are innately on the platforms. If you're just talking at them and you're not
Right.
actually in a two-way dialogue, it's hard to do that when you have what sounds like you're not encumbered by, but like a lot of layers, a lot of approvals, or, in some cases, like really specific regulations you have to be frightened of. Without any of those hindrances, yeah, I mean, I feel like the stuff you guys have produced is genuine content. Like it's stuff that people want to watch, that they're excited to follow along and be inside the jokes with you.
I would agree. I mean, we can capitalize on what's trending, kind of quick trip eyes it, so to speak, and just have some fun with it. And they do that really well. I sit in meetings with, the social media team, and I'm like, man, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. I'm way out of the demo. I really am, but I just trust that they do. And then they put it together, and then I see that, what kind of engagement that social
It's
post
getting,
gets. And
yeah.
every once in a while, they pull me into something. I just kind of laugh because people will ask me, like, how did you do that with a straight face? I'm like, man, that was easy because I had no idea
You
what I
have
was
no
saying.
context. You have no idea what you're doing.
No,
Yeah,
no,
none
I
whatsoever.
don't. I
Honestly, that's
don't. I
better. That's better. And good on you. I mean, honestly, what that speaks to me is your own leadership. I think a lot of times this has to have happened. I've been in marketing for 20 years. And so many things have changed, particularly the last 20 years with marketing. To not have a full grasp of it, I think there's some innate human fear, maybe precaution around that as a leader. Like, oh, I need to understand it and be sort of like a subject matter expert before I can improve it. To let them have the reins speaks a lot to your leadership. You know what I mean? And the trust that you put in them to like really do their jobs, which is not always the case. And I'm wondering if that was always the case. Is that always how you've led a team, or is that something you've learned to maybe be less of a control freak around? You know what I mean? Over time.
Yeah. I think I was observant enough to realize that the vast majority of what we do here to connect with consumers I'm not in the demo anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that a 60 to 64-year-old male isn't important to Kwik Trip. It is. And we can probably reach, guys like me or women like, in my age range, with other things that we do. But For the most part, I have to sit in these meetings and just trust our team is doing the right things to connect with people that are right in the wheelhouse of who we're trying to connect with. And I've realized I just have to step away a little bit and just trust they're doing the right thing. And again, I'm in these meetings and we could talk a little bit about strategy and guardrails and parameters, but I really do trust the team to do the right things to connect with the right people on the right platforms at the right time. And so it's been easy for me because I realized the only way to reach me, like I'm hard to reach. I'm
Sure.
a hard to reach consumer.
Yeah.
And, outside of sports and probably cable news and maybe a little bit on my device, that's the only way someone's going to reach me. Well, I can't make decisions based on how we're going to spend our advertising dollars based on me.
Yeah.
I have to realize again that I'm a very small segment of the audience that we're trying to reach at Kwik Trip, and just trust our team that we're going to do the right things to reach our consumers or potential prospects. And again, they've hit it out of the park for us. It's been
Well,
great.
yeah, and you can see the results, in every one of those 13-week sprints you're talking about, there are real numbers that are like
Right.
correlating to that. And so if it wasn't working, maybe you would have to be more heavy-handed, but it's clearly working.
It is. I would agree.
No, I really do applaud you for that, because I just think we work with a lot of marketing leaders, and I do find that sometimes before we can get to the work, we have to get past their egos or their opinions about things. And so that sort of like low ego mentality is rare, really rare, especially with someone has such a, you have a high position at this organization. You do have power to yield in that way.
Sure.
So we talked about your digital stuff. Tell me about how like live events fit in your strategy. Do you do experiential things? I know you guys sponsor stuff. What is the role that plays for you in connecting with your audience?
Yeah, my background, I spent a lot of time in the world of sports marketing, so I have some application there that I can bring to the table here at Kwik Trip. I look at sports is just a super highly engaged electric audience and consumer base that we can reach. And again, we're blessed here at Kwik Trip where if we're going to make an investment, we realize, we might make an investment with the Green Bay Packers, but we also have to make an investment in activating that sponsorship, doing something with it. And I think it's interesting that, sports is really the last thing people consume live. It just is.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
It just is. So, whether we sponsor a telecast or the team or game days or radio broadcast, whatever it is, it's really destination viewing or listening. So for us, it's a big part of what we do because there's a lot of emotional connectivity, again, to the teams, to the audiences. And we do the same with music. I find the same thing with music. People are really captivated by music, and it's a very emotional audience again. So when we jump into whether it's team associations or media or into concert venues, we always look at what can we own.
Sure.
What can we own? Because there's still some clutter there that we need to cut through.
Well, yeah, especially with some of the bigger league, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, there's a lot of other logos there. It's not just Kwik Trip.
Right. That's exactly it. So how can we get creative to own a promotion? And getting back to the experiential, like we used to have an activation team here, and we found that was just it was kind of difficult. Especially living in La Crosse and headquartered out of La Crosse, we were sending people hours every direction to activate sponsorships, and we just weren't sure how effective it was based on what we were trying to accomplish. But we do look for the experiential as we sweepstakes. As we put together promotions, we just wrapped up a promotion with the Green Bay Packers and selected a grand prize winner who really was Green Bay's first professional Packers fan, because we're giving them a $50,000 grand prize, and they're going to every single home and away game with travel.
That's cool.
Next season, during the 26 season, 27 season here starting this fall. So we just thought, again, it'd be fun to do things that you could only experience by shopping and being a customer at Kwik Trip. Like, what can we do that you could never buy? You could only really access that event or that sponsorship or that grand prize, through being a customer of ours. So we've had fun kind of brainstorming what that looks like.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. And honestly, it's so iconic and memorable. That is a ridiculous sweepstakes. You know what I mean? Like, whoever's going to win it. Even those that don't win it, like, I feel like they're going to remember that they entered, to participate in something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you and I are part of this Vanguard group where we're, convening with other marketing minds from across the state and talking about trends and what we're seeing. I'm curious, as it relates to customer engagement in convenience retail, what do you see as really kind of shaping the future of that space? Or do you have anything that's keeping you up at night, making you feel like, what are we going to do about that?
Well, it's interesting. I'm actually in Minneapolis tomorrow night because we're going to run some focus groups up there. And what I think is interesting about convenience is how food forward it is now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when you think about, 10 years ago, I don't think even 15 years ago, I don't think many people spent a lot of money buying a food product in a convenience store. It was,
Sure.
you might grab a
Yeah,
hot
maybe a
dog off the
Snickers
roller
bar or
dog.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a Coke, a Snickers bar, a roller dog, I mean, that's probably what it would have been, and how convenience has really evolved in food service. We sell a tremendous amount of food out of our stores, and I think fuel will be around for a long time. Don't get me
Sure,
wrong.
yeah.
Now, maybe we'll retool our tanks at some point. We'll be selling liquid hydrogen. I have no idea, where that will go. But I think food and grocery for us at grocery format as well. I think we are a great stop, Monday through Saturday, where people need a couple of items to get through the week, where they do their major shopping, grocery shopping on a Saturday or Sunday. But we offer all the commodities, they're value based for the most part. And then when you bring food into the equation, I think that's kind of the future of convenience is really competing kind of in that QSR space. And a lot of convenience stores have made a commitment to that, and they're making a huge impact in that space.
Well, I have to tell you, I feel like I'm the girl on a road trip who would never even think about looking at a roller dog. So to know that I could get like a banana on the run is so amazing to me. I will 100% wait till the next exit when I see that there's a Kwik Trip, because I know there's something that it's actually appeals to my taste, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm going to fill my kids with a bunch of sodium or sugar while we're
Right.
waiting to get to wherever it is we're going to go next. So
Yeah.
I applaud you for that. Thank you for having actual, real, tangible food in addition to all the like convenient tasties on offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how long have you been in marketing? What's the tenure of your career?
Well, I have been with Kwik Trip for 10 years this summer.
Uh-huh.
And then prior to that, really I'm kind of a sales guy by trade. So I spent a lot of time in media sales, sports marketing, again, bit of a background, spent some time with Learfield, multiple broadcast companies with the Journal Broadcast Group for about 10 years. So again, it's primarily media. I always thought I never, looked at myself as being a great salesperson from the standpoint of, taking people through the sales process, but I thought I was always a pretty good consultant type of seller where I had a genuine interest in the businesses that I worked with. And
Sure.
if I could help them not only in radio broadcast or using radio as a tool, but other ideas in which to assist a company with marketing, advertising, or, again, to solve that problem that kept them up at night. I always had a lot of interest in that. And so I think it made me a decent salesperson because of that. But at the same time, I felt like I came to Kwik Trip, although I needed to learn retail and I needed to learn convenience in this business. I felt like I came in with a lot of good skill sets in which to basically tackle this position. So I really do value the sales background that I had to come into retail because I really understand the other side of it. And that's been helpful for me to understand how to execute various media platforms to move the needle at Kwik Trip. So it was a great background to have coming in here.
No, I agree with you. And I wish most marketers had some like direct sales experience first, because I think sometimes we can get so obsessed with the idea. You know what I mean? Like, what's the pitch? What's going to be in the commercial? What's the tagline? You know what I mean? Or whatever. And I think having that, everything's supposed to go back to a sale, right? Like that's really the actual North Star here. So I would say, 2 decades at least you've been in the space. You are an expert in the space, all in. I'm curious what piece of advice you would give to those trying to create meaningful connections with their customers in 2026 might be, right? It's noisy. People have a lot of choices. Getting access to folks across demographics is hard. What's your like secret sauce in this moment?
Yeah, for us, I think, again, authenticity matters big time. And we've got, again, a lot of flexibility on our end to create content. I think what we've done, even with influencers, has been super significant in our space. I was sitting with our chief operating officer and CEO not that long ago, and I was talking about our marketing spend. And again, I still believe in a marketing mix and still believe in frequency and how to reach consumers in a very cluttered environment. But I said, I could argue that the dollars that we invest in our social side and what we do with influencers are probably the very best dollars that we spend in terms of offering a little bit of humor in most cases, being able to be authentic in terms of who we are. We can get a little crazy and have fun. I think, the world's kind of a heavy place right now. So if we can provide a little bit of an outlet where people could forget about everything that's going on in the world and just throw some humor in there and tie it into a convenience store, you wouldn't normally think that would be the case.
Yeah, there's a bit of like an unexpected turn with that.
It is, isn't it? But I think, again, authenticity is just a big deal. I think, how we execute at our stores. I was meeting with a group yesterday and said, the cool thing at Kwik Trip is I never have to put lipstick on a pig here. I just don't. I mean, our people execute so well at the store level. Our stores are clean. Certainly there's always areas for improvement. We're always trying to do that. But you have clean bathrooms and you've got great stores and you've got great execution and a great food program. It makes my life really pretty easy in terms of driving traffic and promoting a product into our stores because I know that our stores execute. But I think, again, at the end of the day for us, it's being authentic and being able to just be honest and have fun with your consumers and those prospective, people that, given a choice when they drive down the street, if they've got, a choice of driving right into our parking lot or left into somebody else's, that they'll take that right because of maybe how we've engaged with them in some fun, authentic way.
Yeah, I think that really does matter. I agree with you about the authenticity, and I applaud you for the focus on maybe a little bit of humor. I do think, and I wrote a declaration at the end of last year that 2026 was going to be my year of joy. I just think it is heavy. It is heavy and noisy, and people are overstimulated and strung out. How can it be that what we're doing sparks a little joy and creates at least a smile, if not, helping to sort of improve people's lives in some way or another? I think that's exactly spot on, but it's difficult in a retail environment because you can have the most beautiful campaign, but at the end of the day, you have a baton pass to your operations. And if somebody walks in and has a bad experience in one of the stores, it doesn't matter how shiny and bright or how funny and sweet or how clever the campaign is. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's what they're going to remember is their firsthand experience with it. And I can't think of a single time I haven't had a more than stellar experience in your stores. So your team really does knock it out of the park, and it's a lucky thing for you to have because it's much more difficult to make that sort of brand promise and not have it be broken by quite frankly folks that you don't manage, right? They're not even under your purview within the organization.
Agree 100%. Absolutely. I walk into our stores sometimes and I just wonder, how do we hire these people? They're so good. They're so friendly.
So good. They're so happy and friendly.
Yeah, it's just really kind of an amazing business from that standpoint. Our recruitment efforts and how our people hire at the store level, it's really, I would agree with you. It's unlike anything else, I think, in convenience or retail in general.
Well, Mark, I just appreciate you spending a little time with me, sharing a little bit of your wisdom in this space. I hope you can become a regular on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Really do appreciate it.